Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is a DM that I got from Lab Spirit. He says, "Hey, I follow you on YouTube, not knowing you have an Instagram. You should redesign the newest 2016 version of the Smart ForTwo. It looks less like a cute toy car and more like an obese, fat, unhappy thing. Anyways, thanks for pointing your Instagram out." Well, let's have a look at the Smart ForTwo and let's see what we can do about the fatness of it. So this is the Smart ForTwo. So let's see what it is that kind of makes it look a bit fat and not so fun anymore. To me, I think it has a lot to do with this huge bumper that sticks out like one of those fishes. I don't know what's the name of the fish, but this reminds me of one of those fish with huge lips and big eyes, and almost like they look almost cartoonish, or like a clown or something like that. But I think this is one of the issues with the Smart 2 that makes it look a little bit too fat. Then we have a sharp corner, a sharp edge right here, and then we have a bunch of smooth round surfaces in the rest of the body of the car. So what I want to do with this redesign, the thing I have in mind here, is to extend the A-pillar. So I want to extend the greenhouse all the way here. So we take this A-pillar, this is the A-pillar, and we extend it to this point, and then we do the same here. So it becomes almost like a cube on wheels. We're going to remove this, or we're going to fill in this surface here, this area, with wind screen or windshield. So we're going to have a larger windscreen, and we're going to have a larger greenhouse in general. So that's the first step that I want to do. And then to me, a funky fun car, it has a lot of being a friendly looking car. To me, it has a lot to do with roundness of the car and curvatures, and not so much sharp lines. We're going to add a few sharp lines just to have some styling features in this car. So for example, I want to have a sharper shoulder line right here that goes into this black surface as well. So I want to sharpen this up, but I want to redesign the headlights of this Smart ForTwo. I want them to be round, big round headlights like this. And the thing here, this is such a small car, so the headlights needs to be big. They're going to kind of look bigger than they should, because they need to be, they're going to look a lot bigger than they would in a normal sized car. That's what I'm trying to get at, because of the proportions of the rest of the car. It's such a tiny car. So no matter what kind of standard headlights you put, if you put mini headlights on this, they will still be huge. So I want to have the friendly face, make it a little bit friendlier, and remove this as well. So I want to remove this surface right here, fill this in, and create some more defining lines to the front end while still keeping it not aggressive. Which is going to be kind of a challenge, because pretty much every single car today is supposed to be aggressive. And there are not that many cars that are designed to look funky and happy. So that's kind of a new take on a redesign. So let's jump in now to the redesign of this Smart ForTwo, and let's see how it's going to turn out. So here we are in Photoshop as always, and let's start with some magic airbrush, and let's get this shoulder line going. First of all, sharpen up a few of these edges. So we're going to keep the mix of sharp and soft radius and corners and all of that. I want to keep that in this redesign, but at the same time sharpen up a few more lines that we have right now, especially the shoulder line. Since it's such a tiny little car, I think it needs to have a more defined shoulder to extend visually the length of the car as much as possible by using whatever graphics we can, and I think the shoulder line is an important part of that. We're moving forward with the greenhouse, so I want to move the whole greenhouse forward and create a larger cabin for the passenger to sit in. This could probably work a lot better if this was an electric vehicle and there was no engine in the front. It's not a sports car by any means, so it doesn't need to have any sporty. It doesn't need to try and be sporty, because it's not. It's as simple as that. But in the end of this video, I can't help myself. I'm gonna throw some rims on it, even though it's not a sports car. I just really don't like these stock wheels on here, so I'm gonna change those out in the end of this video. But for now, I want to work on the front here and try to figure out how we can have almost like a continuous line going down from the A-pillar down to the headlight. The problem here, though, is that if I want to have round headlights, which I'm sketching out here just to place them and see how it will look like. The biggest challenge with this redesign is, first of all, the proportions. The proportions are very unique for a smart car. It's not that easy to make it look like a beautiful car. If you want to do that, you need to pretty much start over and I would create almost like a cube of this car and not even try to make it not even try to have the same volumes as a hatchback, for example, with a hood and all of that. I would just make a cube with 4 wheels in each corner of this cube and then prioritize the interior space as much as possible. These are so tiny. I remember when I lived in Italy, in Milan, for a year studying car design. These were everywhere in the city, of course. It's a perfect city car. And I remember they were parking them like you would park a motorcycle in the parking spaces. So they were parking with the nose towards the sidewalk. And you could fit maybe 2 or 3 smart cars parallel to each other within one parking spot. And I mean, that just makes sense, having a car like this if you live in a very congested city, or if you live in a city in general. I'm not sure if they have an electric version of the Smart. I feel like they probably should. I haven't looked it up, but if they don't, I think that would be a very cool alternative, like the what's it called, the new Honda, the electric one, the Honda E. Very simple name to remember when you think about it. I just love the styling of that car. It's a lot bigger than a Smart, but it's still a perfect car to have in the city. And even though if I lived in Chicago, for example, my wife keeps telling me that she wants to move back to Chicago, but I think it's too cold, so I don't think it's gonna happen. But even if I was living there, and you have all the public transportation, the trains and the subways, I would still want to have a car to just move around the city. And I think a smart car like this would probably be a good alternative, or the Honda E, which design I absolutely love. I think it's a really cool looking car. So I'm just rambling on here about some random stories and moving to Chicago and stuff, and not talking enough about the redesign. So let's do that right now. As I said, I wanted to mix sharp edges and soft corners and radiuses and stuff like that. I wanted to mix it all together. That's the point of this. And as I said also in the beginning, I couldn't help myself. I threw some Brabus wheels on this. This is actually from a smart car. Brabus makes, they are the Mercedes equivalent of the M. Not the M. It's more like an underground tuner that's been around for Mercedes for a long time. It's not as official as AMG, but they still make some serious tuning cars out of stock Mercedeses. And of course, Smart is owned by Mercedes, so they have had their hands on the smart car as well and created a Brabus version, which to me seems completely nuts, but at the same time very, very cool. And these are the wheels from one of those versions. So that would be the redesign of the Smart ForTwo. The idea was to make it less fat and increase the overall greenhouse of the car, make it more of a unify the whole shape of the car, not have the bumper stick out so much, which to me made it look fat. And that, I think that's what the person who DM'd me suggesting this car, I think that's what he thought as well about the front bumper, and that it needs to have a more fun, cartoonish approach to especially the front fascia. So I decided to go with some round headlights, because round headlights to me, they always symbolize friendliness, and it's not too aggressive. It's not a Lambo eagle eye in the front there, because it's a Smart ForTwo. It's not supposed to be aggressive. It's a funky little city car to bounce around town in, and this looks like it's ready to do that at any moment you like. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. I'm the Sketch Monkey. I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.